Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank both witnesses for their outstanding testimony and service. General, in the slide presentation, the last slide, which talks about strategic risks, one of the storm clouds here was the inadequate state USAID resourcing. You gave a very, I think, blunt and honest answer earlier today about the resolution which we're going to be voting on tomorrow. And I want to first of all thank you for your answer to Senator Graham about your concerns about the budget that came out of the House in terms of the cuts to USAID and to the State Department in general. One of the frustrations for a lot of us during that debate was that it was framed as cutting discretionary domestic spending, but in fact, obviously, the State Department and USAID was brought in to those cuts. And just to be very clear on the record here, I mean, in 2010, USAID was funded at a level of $1.42 billion. The H.R. 1 cut that to $1.3 billion, which was about a 14% reduction from what the President requested for 2011. For a lot of people, though, USAID is just an acronym. It just doesn't mean anything to the average citizen out there. And I'm just wondering if you could maybe, fill in what that means in terms of the work that USAID is doing in Afghanistan and how integral it is to a successful both diplomatic but military strategy, and the quicker we can pivot away from a military footprint in that country.
Well, thanks very much, Congressman. In fact, I sent a letter to Senator Graham in response to a question that he asked of me, and it was put on the record yesterday in the SASC, and it might be worth sharing, in fact, with members of this committee. The bottom line, though, in that letter was that I stated that this category of funding, which is so essential to building on the hard-fought security gains that our troopers sacrificed so much to achieve, this category is really a national security funding issue, not just an issue of foreign assistance or some other element. Again, without that construction of governance and development on the foundation of security that is achieved by our men and women in uniform, you cannot consolidate your gains. You can't solidify them and indeed build on them, as we say.
Another slide which was submitted, I think it was slide 13, which was some photographs of school openings, and there was a rather, a quote, "shooting a bullet into our enemy's heart," which is a pretty vivid metaphor in the context of showing kids lining up for school. But again, it really shows the really strong connection between, and that may have been a SURF project, but nonetheless, USAID is all about school construction, and the fact is that that's how we win with that type of investment.
This particular district where the school is being opened, and it's the district governor now, mind you, not us. He's the one saying that this is akin to shooting a bullet into our enemy's heart. This district is Mullah Omar's hometown, and needless to say, that school was not open under the Taliban. In Marja, there were 0 schools open under the Taliban. That was a nexus of the illegal narcotics industry and the Taliban command and control. There are now 5 schools open, including a high school for the first time in, we think, almost a decade, and also 5 others that are under construction. Now, it may well be that these are SERP funded, but the idea is that we all work together. And as you know, when it comes to the Afghan Infrastructure Fund, that is jointly administered between the military and state/AID. And I don't know if the Secretary wants to mention something on that.
Yeah, I would just say that at this particular point in the campaign, when we're actually getting traction on the security dimension, we're creating space for those things to happen, as General Patraeus said. It's even more important now that we maintain, if not increase, the funding for some of these critical, early stabilization programs. As soon as you clear an area, OTI, the Office of Transition Initiatives, as part of USAID, goes in and immediately starts programs to engage the community. agricultural development, which is the heart of the Afghan economy, capacity building so that Afghans will be more able to do for themselves over time, dispute resolution, which goes at the heart of what the Taliban, so really competes directly with the Taliban and the role it's tried to carve out for itself. These are critical programs, and if we only fund the military piece, you can't actually get across the goal line without state and AID assistance as well.
Thank you.